very good afternoon to all of you and welcome on our sunset safari, where, as I said, it's becoming a little bit of a pattern in the afternoons for us to be hit by thunderstorms. That one moved through the area about half an hour or so ago, but Craig and myself have survived. My name is Jamie, and this afternoon Craig is on camera with me once again on our 3-day adventure across the river, and we are in the Masai Mara of Kenya. So you're watching a live safari, which means send through questions and comments on hashtag Safari Live on Twitter. That's hashtag Safari Live on Twitter. I suspect that man is coming over here to ask me if I found anything to show him. I haven't. Luckily, there is somebody who has found something. I'm not sure exactly where he is, not too far from us, I don't think, but Brent has had more luck with spots.
Welcome to a stormy, windy afternoon in the Masai Mara. There's wildebeest about, but not a cheetah into an area full of... Now, of course, if you want to ask us any questions, hashtag Safari Live. So, actually, I think I can see the impala now, just off to the left of the wildies there. Now, there were quite a few babies in that group, and she did look at them quite longingly, but even if
Sabi sands of southern Africa, that is a woodland kingfisher, and this of course is Safari Live. We're not going to have an opening title sequence, as well you lost the Mara a little bit earlier, so we're just going to continue with the show. My name is James Henry, on camera today Willem Dorenbrak. There is his outlandishly long thumb, and over there we've got an elephant which is leaving, unfortunately. We've watched him have a wonderful swim and dive about in the mud. We might try and catch up with him shortly, but while I tell you about how to talk to us, I think let's go back to the woodland kingfisher, which is sitting very close by to us. You may talk to us using the hashtag Safari Live on Twitter. Otherwise, if you're watching on YouTube, you can use the chat stream there. Ask us any questions you like. Send us any comments you'd like to. As long as they're kind and compliment my fragile ego, I will address them. It would be wonderful to hear from you during the course of this afternoon. Isn't that a magnificent picture? He just caught himself a dragonfly for his lunch, or what would it be, I suppose, his early tea. And then he sang us a song which went a little bit like this. Chip! He seems to only have that song. Yes, you do, don't you? But their colours are just very special, and I ask this constantly, and nobody's ever given me a satisfactory answer. Many have tried, and much research has been done on my... Thank you, on my behalf. But why it is that birds of both sexes should have such lovely colours when there can be no real advantage. I'm of course closing my eyes now because the sun is directly into them, and I wish to be able to see for the rest of my days. So if you don't mind, I'm just going to address you like this. I also have to tell you, of course, that Noelle is out on drive today. She is being filmed by Sebastian, and I'm not sure where they're going. I think they're off to the west. Our plan, of course, is to go to the far east to see if we can find the small chief who has got a kill in a tree near Chitwa. Here we go. I would like to try and get one more look at that elephant. I tried valiantly originally to look into the sun, but it became impossible. Well, you see, Joy, it is impossible to know the difference between a male and a female kingfisher unless you are in fact a kingfisher, because they look identical, and so it's very difficult to tell. Let's just gently make our way around here. There are no obvious signs. You might find that in general one is slightly larger than the other, but to the naked eye I think it would be very difficult to tell. Oh, he's just ghosting through the woodlands here. Is our not our kingfisher friend, they normally fly. I mean our elephant. I don't think we're going to have a great view of him. I think this is the chap I saw last night. He doesn't like cars, he just walks off away from them. Let's see if we can get one last view of him. I'll turn off the road. Oh, I'm afraid I don't think so. I'll just get a little bit closer. Alright, I don't think we're going to harass this fellow, especially as Noel seems to have managed to find the same sort of thing, possibly a little bit closer.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome again to Safari Live. James, your elephant was amazing. We also have a beautiful young bull elephant who is giving us quite the little show. We're sitting here close to a mud pan, and because it is so warm, I am hoping that he will make his way. And again, I am Noel. Hello, hello, hello. And on camera, I have Seb. Hi, hello, Seb. Everyone. He's saying hello. It is warm. It's about 31 degrees Celsius, which would be about 87 degrees Fahrenheit. Remember, we are live. We are interactive. Hashtag Safari Live on the Twitter, or you can follow us on YouTube chat. So here he comes. As predicted, he's going to walk straight past these bushes and then right down to the mud pan, and hopefully he will give us a bit of a show. I'm excited about it. Elephants mud bathing is one of my favorite things to watch. We might have a little bit of a feeding here. It's also possible he just wants to investigate us. We've been with him for a couple of minutes now. He definitely knows that we're here. He's picking up the nice green grass, getting the soil off, and making his way. So he has mud on him already. So because it was very chilly this morning and rainy, and then now has gotten quite warm, he's probably already this afternoon had a bit of a mud bath. And oh, he's going to be very rude and and bypass our mud pan completely. Shame, cheeky fellow. Smelling as he walks. We've talked about this before. When elephants are moving, they can't see sort of down to their feet where they're placing their feet, so they put their trunk like that to be able to assess the area in which they're moving in. See how he's smelling there. So not only is that trunk a nose and an arm. Ladybird, you're curious about how many toes an elephant has. The savanna elephant, the elephant that we get here, has 5 toes in front and 4 toes in back, 4 toenails in front and 3 toenails in back, as opposed to the Indian elephant, which has 5 and 5 in front and 5 and 5 in the back. So basically with the toenails, they don't need them, so over time they've disappeared. Yeah, similar to us with wisdom teeth. Some people are now born without wisdom teeth because we don't really need them anymore, and some of us, when they come up, we just remove them because again, we don't need them anymore. All right, well, that was a brief sighting. I was actually hoping it would be a little bit longer, but that's all right. He gave us a good show and some good light. We're going to go down and check Twin Dams as well and see if anything has come to the water there, and then probably check Treehouse Dam and then move along to the western side of the property for today. So let us carry on. With our plan. So I believe James is gonna go look for Hosana, and I believe this morning Tristan was having a look on foot for Tingana. So we're thinking as it cools down a little bit, we might go have a look for Tingana. I'm also super keen to see if Shadow and her youngster are around, but then there was buffalo apparently on the property as well. We might go have a look there. And then the Nkuhumas have been over on Biffleshoek, and I'm hoping they maybe want to come back. So we've got a lot planned for this afternoon. As you know, our plans always go awry, but that's what we're aiming for today. There was also, we had this young male here, and then while we were busy watching him, we could see tracks for a larger male moving towards Treehouse Dam. So maybe by the time we get over there, we might get a visual of another elephant. Elephants always prove nice for hot days like today because you can expect to find them around water, and as you know, they always put on down, and then after they're done with the mud, then they will go and sort of throw some soil on themselves and help cool down that way as well. So with the bulls that are around, that's good. It probably means that the breeding herds are also around with youngsters and little baby elephants. I don't know if anyone saw Jamie's show, part of the show. Oh, I want to say it was about 4 or 5 days ago, but she had a tiny little elephant calf that decided to show off his elephant skills towards her vehicle. It was absolutely adorable and quite hilarious. Go Rev, you are asking, do elephants ever stump on their trunks while walking? I have never seen that ever. Although they are able to get their trunks down to the ground, and especially the big bulls, you'll see them sort of resting it. No, they're very perceptive of their bodies and how their bodies work, so I've never seen anything like that. Interesting thought though, because that would definitely be a bum over head scenario if that were to happen, and probably quite painful for the elephant itself. It's amazing. We as humans, I mean, look, you get very athletic humans who use their bodies very well, but I think we tend to overthink what we're able to perform and how we're able to perform with our bodies. And so for wildlife like an elephant or a lion or a buffalo, they're fully aware of how their bodies function and what works best for them. So things like that are few and far between, and definitely the elephants, I've never heard of that happening. Alright, well, while we head over to Twin Dams, let's go over to James and see if he has found anything he would like to show us.
Well, if she's going to Twin Dams, we'd better change our route. It was good information. We don't want to bump into her and steal whatever it is that she was going to see. She might be in front of us, of course, as well. It was a spider hunting wasp, but it is gone. We've come down this way, just past the area of Tandai, hoping that maybe we'll catch her moving her babies, showing us where her den is, revealing the mysteries of her youngsters to us. But at this stage we have not found anything. I've seen some nyala since I last saw you, and we left our elephant going in the same direction as you last saw him going. It is a gorgeous summer's afternoon. Kirsten, what is the temperature? It is 30 and 87. So 30 is a very comfortable temperature out here. 87 is also, startlingly enough. There are clouds building in the west and south, indicating perhaps some more rain coming in this evening. I hope it's tonight rather than this evening. And so it's got that lovely expectant feeling of a summer's afternoon out here. It's very nice. Oh, no, she could be up there, but we're not going to drive up there. We're going to keep going this way. We will take the road known as Battalier. We just find a route around. Ooh, there's the first yellow pansy. Cameramen love it when we point out butterflies. I'm a yellow pansy, says VM. Can you see it? I think it's gone. I did see it though, I promise. And I object to being called a yellow pansy. Alright, Noel has made something other than an insulting cameraman. Let's cross and find out what it is.
Can we guess what it is? Cloven hooves. So an even-toed ungulate, even-toed animal. There's several of them here, sort of a chocolatey brown on the bottom. Kirsten says, oh, copy. I wish, Kirst. It's a wildebeest. And this lady in front is pregnant. So they normally give birth sort of mid-December to mid-January, but I have a sneaky suspicion that we are going to have a few very early births with these wildebeest, as these ladies are looking big. It's our own little mini migration away from Twin Dam. So they've come down to have a drink, satiated themselves, and now they're going to go off and feed again and probably do a little bit of ruminating. You could actually see nicely there with the way that the sun has lit them why we called them a brindled gnu. All of that striping on the side is called brindling. I don't know if any of you have heard of a brindled cat. That would be a similar type of striping scenario. There we are there. Also known as a blue wildebeest or a blauw wildebeest. Blauw is blue in Afrikaans. And notice as well, we get two species of wildebeest in South Africa. We get the blue wildebeest, and we also get the black wildebeest, or the swart wildebeest. And with the blue wildebeest, the horns go off to the side and then curl up. And with a black wildebeest, they come forward and then curl from the front. Now, they don't naturally occur, as far as I know, in the same areas. A lot of the areas where I've seen the two of them together is because someone has brought the other species there. The black wildebeest, it's very dark with a white tail. I'm just thinking in my head, it's sort of the Free State side, so much farther west from us and a little bit farther south. Alright, so the dam wall is just up here. What I would like... Ooh, Seb, do you see the black-shouldered kite that's just busy hovering here? Hopefully it will stop. They like to stop sort of mid-air and they backswing their wings, and that's how they see their prey. Black-shouldered kites are really amazing. Their eyes can see into the UV spectrum, and when their prey, like mice, is running away, they will leave a little trail of urine, and that's part of the way that they track their prey. Now, with the hot air and the thermals coming up there, it's found a thermal here. There it circles around. Oh, please do the back wing. Oh, almost. Let's see if we can stay with them. Seb, your camera work as always is expert, but we can only move. Oh, shame. That's all right. Black-shouldered kite. Now, black-shouldered kites are super interesting. They do something called resource partitioning. So the same species that they like to eat for food, owls like to eat for food. So black-shouldered kites will function during the day and hunt and eat during the day, and then owls, for the most part, hunt and eat at night. So although they're eating the same food species, they're not interfering with each other. That's by what we mean by partitioning, so breaking apart, and then the resource would be the food. Resource partitioning. Super interesting. Oh, I love black-shouldered kites. Don't forget, tomorrow is Big Birding Day. Sorry, Curse, buffalo are going where? Ooh, can you see them on the dam cam? Is James closer to their Cursed, or shall we head over there? Oh, fantastic. All right, so while we are just checking the little mud pans that are on the southern side of Twin Dams quickly, then we will head up and go see those buffalo at Djuma Pan, because as you know, our buffalo have been off during their, I believe it's their winter feeding habitat is not really in our area, but we've had the wonderful rain, and like we've been talking about, the grass is coming up. Nothing at the pans. All right, let's definitely go and do that. I love buffalo. Buffalo are fascinating, and also with the buffalo come our lions, because as you know, our prides, the nkuhumas and the sticks, who are usually in this area, they're larger prides and they like to eat larger prey. Specifically the nkuhumas, who they don't, it's not 100% of their diet is buffalo. We don't have buffalo around here enough for it to be that, but it's a huge part of their resources. James Richard, good afternoon. I'm glad you're watching today. Wonderful comment. You are saying the wildebeest are probably relieved that the buffalo are back to give them a break. I would agree with you, James Richard. Definitely. Oh, thanks. Thanks for the smile and the chuckle. All right. We've got what looks like some tracks from a breeding herd of elephants and some poo, so we'll also look for them as well. But let's head over to James, who is bumbling around, and see what he has for us while I go look for these buffalo.
We have got a few little baby impalas. There they are. Sorry, I'm just trying to turn the game drive radio down and failing dismally. There we are. There were probably about 6 of them lying in the shade here, and as we pulled up, Viam was telling me a story about lightning, and they all ran away. That's not a joke, that's exactly what happened. It was as he reached the climax of his story and he went that they disappeared. And as he also pointed out to me, they are starting to make that grunting noise, the females calling their youngsters. Let me just sneak slightly forward. Isn't it sweet watching 2 of them suckling there? Starting the engine. No, they're going to run anyway. Very skittish, obviously. They are, well, tremendous security concerns when you have a little one like that. Alright, let us continue. I can hear the sound of a white-crowned shrike up ahead. They nested in this area last year. There it is. Hello, Steffi. There are the 2 white-crowned shrikes. Can you see them, Bumpy? Oh, spotted. Still same tree. There we are. Oh, there's a... Oh, no, this is just the white-crowned shrike. Steffi, yes, I do very much enjoy being back at Djuma. More so on foot than in the car, but I still enjoy being in the car. Lovely to reacquaint myself with our leopard characters. And it just kind of feels as where I cut my teeth in the bush, so I suppose it feels a little bit more like a home, if you like. I love the Mara, though. It really is a spectacular place, and it certainly feels a lot bigger than here. But this has a familiarity which is very nice indeed. We're done with this bird, are we, Viam? Oh yes, okay. Viam is finished with this bird. We're going to continue. That was the white-crowned shrike. I think they're in the process of courting. I'm sure the breeding is about to begin. I'll just show you what I meant by the clouds coming up this way. You can see lovely banks of cloud up ahead, just softening the light slightly, taking away the whiteness of the sky. Shall I stop over here, Viam? Will that do for you? There we go. I know it's not a leopard, Viam, but we will go to one, I promise. There we are. Look at the pretty picture you've made. Well, yes, you created it though, Viam. Without your skill, you would never have been able to show that African sky to people from all over the world. Wind is doing some odd things, coming in from southeast and then northeast. There is twange. That's it. You can hear it blowing through the marula tree above me. Lynn, you are obviously asking a sarcastic question. Do I miss the rain in the Mara? No, I don't miss the rain in the Mara, nor do I miss the wind in the Mara. The temperature in the Mara is very pleasant. It can be chilly in the mornings, but it's never gets beastly hot like it gets here. You get warm, but it doesn't get really hot. But that rain was something else. I suppose now the cars are properly equipped to deal with it, so it's a bit better. Oh, Vim spotted another bird. A lilac-breasted roller. Ah, it's flown away. Wait, it'll stop. There it is. Not very lilac with that background, I'm afraid. Now, about many of the animals we have here, we have the go-to facts, if you like. That if we are feeling particularly uninspired or we don't know very much about a certain thing, then we'll say something like, the lilac-breasted roller, it's got 7 colours on it. It's much the same as the topi being the fastest antelope, etc. That's the go-to fact for the lilac-breasted roller. We get all 4 species, not all 4, we get 4 species of roller here. Now, I must stop here because yesterday, that very animal over there, you can see totally relaxed, very calm, failed to make an impression on the television because, unfortunately, Jamie's cheetah were hunting, and so we had to quickly go across to them. And while this very fine example of Steenbok womanhood was standing as she is now, demonstrating herself to us, we were unable to bring you the joys of Steenbok in the grass. Well, today it is different. If you are wondering what's happened to the Mara, by the way, they have an internet problem, which means they cannot broadcast this afternoon at the moment. They are working on it. Really interesting colour that, isn't it? That chestnut red in amongst the greyness. And it's not grey grass, it's largely grey forbs. 1 or 2 grey sticks of grass, I guess, really old grass. But in amongst them will be little green forbs, and that's what that Steenbok will be eating. And new fresh shoots of grass. On we meander towards the south. Lily, you say you love their ears. I like their ears too. I think they're most impressive. And they're often the only thing you see sticking out of the grass, especially as summer comes along. Alrighty then. Right, Noel has managed to make it all the way up back to Djuma Dam, where we have got a creature that has been conspicuous by its absence for the last little while.
I'm so excited! Oh my goodness, now I know that you all can see this on the Djuma live cam, but I'm sorry, this is too great, and our light is beautiful, and oh, it's buffalo! We've got biffelkies! So a buffalo in Afrikaans is a biffel. That's why it's a Biffel's Hook Dam. It's Buffalo Corner Dam. Seb, are we happy here?
Yes.
Okay. Oh my goodness. Let's just listen for a minute. Seb, I'm super keen on this one that's rolling in the mud just here at our sort of 11 o'clock.
This one there?
Yeah. That, look at their faces, that is pleasure. This is a warm, warm, warm day. And buffaloes have a tendency to get a lot of ectoparasites, so outside parasites on their skin, which causes them more than a little irritation. They also get insects that bore into their horns. I believe it's the larvae of a woolly moth, but don't quote me on that one. It'll come to me. I'll think of it just now. And so that by getting it on their horns like that, that also helps. What a stunning sight. So now from a game drive perspective, from a vehicle perspective, this is wonderful. This would also be a wonderful perspective from a walk. And what you're seeing is you're seeing the front end of the buffalo herd coming through. There's more buffalo that are coming through the back. Buffaloes move in a really interesting formation. It's sort of a diamond formation. And at the very front of that formation will be a female. She's known as the Pathfinder, and she knows where the good food and water is. And the rest of the herd will follow her. And then at the edges, the sides of the diamond shape, you tend to get young virile bulls, and at the back, the bottom end of the diamond, you will get the old, the weak, and the sick, and then everything in the middle is all the other females and their young of varying different ages. So buffaloes are known for taking care of each other. They can chase off lions very easily. I had one of the most amazing sightings in my career when I was up in Zambia in September of a herd of about 1,000 buffalo, maybe a little bit less, let's say 700, and a pride of 20 some odd lions. No, sorry, 16 lions. It was 16 lions, and they had a standoff at 10:30 in the morning in 38 degrees Celsius heat, so well over 100 degrees Fahrenheit, for an hour and a half. So they're very capable, and my point of bringing that up is that the reason why the old, the weak, and the sick are at the back is that they basically know that their life is up, and they're basically sacrificing themselves for the betterment of the herd. It's a very interesting structure. Lady Starfire, you totally read my mind about the Nkuhumas. You're basically saying that the Nkuhumas should be told that there's a Black Friday sale on buffalo at Djuma Dam. Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if we end up seeing the Nkuhumas, if not this afternoon, tomorrow morning. It would definitely not surprise me. Now, something that's interesting, so we were just watching our elephants. Now, elephants will go and drink water, and then they will, if the water hole is small, only after they drink will they use it to mud bathe and to wallow in. Buffaloes don't care. Buffaloes don't need to have clean water. They don't care about clean water. All of this water that they're walking through, they will wee in it, they'll poo in it, they'll then drink, someone else will drink it after they could care less. They're not as finicky, as picky. Seb, there's a gorgeous male that's just come here at our 9 o'clock. Joy, you're curious about whether buffaloes ever get stuck in the mud. Joy, great question. So this type of mud is very thin mud. Yeah, thanks, Seb. He's stunning. This male is absolutely beautiful. And there's another big male that's coming close to him. This type of mud, Joy, is very thin mud. There's not a lot under it. Again, when talking about Zambia, several years ago when I was working up there, when the mud pans start drying up, it's very thick mud that is easy to get stuck in. And we came across, I believe, that was a beautiful female that you were just showing there, Seb, as well. I want you guys to have a look. Joy, I'm coming back to you just now. I want you to have a look at sort of how these horns are thin on top as opposed to the other ones that Seb was showing a little bit earlier where it's very thick on top. That top part is called a boss. All right, there's so much going on. So anyway, so Joy, we came around the corner one day to a dam called Pelican Dam, or Pelican Lagoon rather, and there were 6 or 7 buffaloes stuck in the mud. The only thing that was showing was their faces, and basically they had gotten stuck, and then as they were trying to get themselves out, it just got them deeper and deeper and deeper. And as we were sitting there, the pride at that time, that was probably 20-ish in number, came rolling through and started to eat them as they were lying there in the mud. Now, I love lion interaction with prey, basically any sort of predator-prey action, but that was a little bit hard to take. I think we only stayed there for about 20 minutes, and then all of us agreed that watching lions lick the eyeballs out of a live buffalo was a bit too much for our stomachs on that day. So yes, they do get stuck in the mud, for sure. There's that beautiful big boss of a male. And sorry everybody, I think I was actually wrong. I think this is the tail end of the herd as opposed to the front end of the herd because of the way that they are moving off now. They obviously had some ones that came down first. And there's our beautiful light. Yeah, myself as well, everybody. I'm just as happy as you are. If not happier, if that's possible. It's interesting. I've always enjoyed buffalo. I've got friends who really love rhino. I've got friends who really love elephant. I've got friends who really love lion and leopard. If I take the predators out of it, for me, there's something about buffalo. I really dig them. And the old buffalo bulls I always keep an eye on. When I was a brand new guide, I think I'd been guiding for something silly like 6 weeks. I went out to go photograph wildflowers and I wasn't paying attention and I was by myself, so 2 stupid things. And all the hair on the back of my neck stood up and I looked up and there was 2 or 3 old buffalo bulls staring at me and who decided they'd been watching me, obviously, this idiot wandering around taking photos of wildflowers. And anyway, long story short, I ended up in a tree with thorns in my bum with 3 buffalo bulls at the bottom of it, and had to wait to be sadly rescued by my head ranger, who also laughed hysterically for a good 10 minutes when he came to get me. Anyway, so I've got a lot of respect for those old men. Veli, you are asking, are wildebeest more dangerous than buffalo? Veli, any wildlife creature can be dangerous. It just depends on the scenario in which they find themselves. So if you were to corner a wildebeest, he can be just as dangerous as a buffalo. I had a friend that was almost gored by a nyala because he cornered a nyala. Same thing with an impala. So it just depends on what's happening. Oh, sorry, that particular buffalo is taking exception to the fact that I'm not saying he's more dangerous than a wildebeest. Excuse me, sir. No, so basically the stories around buffalo being dangerous has more to do with those old men that I was talking about. A herd like this, you clap. If I were to walk up and clap my hands at them, they're going to run off. Not that I'm going to do that, but just to illustrate the point. With an old buffalo bull, the ones that have left the herd, they're old. They're cranky. They've got those larvae burrowing into their horns. They're losing their skin. They're tired of living in a herd structure. They're like the cranky old man that lives on your street who sits on the stoop on the porch and throws beer bottles at children driving his bike because he's a cranky old man. There's no real reason for it. They're the ones that you have to be a little bit more careful of because they've just reached a point where if you disturb them, they have a tendency more to come at you as opposed to move away. They know their strength. But again, I've been tracking on foot by myself with a tracker with other guides and come up against buffalo bulls and that had them move off just as much as I've had, more so actually than I've had to find a tree. I've had to find a tree once or twice, maybe 3 times total, but more often than not they do move away. Alright, what I would like to do, we've had a beautiful view at the dam. I just want to carry on across the dam wall and come up and watch them grazing a little bit. Oh, Shane, you're asking, are buffaloes a dark color or why are they a dark color? Sorry, cursed. Oh, are they all the same color? Oh, so O'Shane, I think what you're having a look at right now is the fact that it looks like some of them are darker and some of them are lighter. So when a buffalo is born, it's sort of a chocolatey, a milk chocolatey brown color, and the older they get, they turn in sort of a dark chocolatey brown color. So in general, yes, they are the same color. It's just a slightly different hues between a milk chocolate and a dark chocolate. Now you also get, now this is super interesting, you also get what's known as leucistic buffalo. So leucism is not the same as albinism. Leucism is a lack of pigment, so basically a white buffalo, and you tend to see leucism in bird species, and you tend to see leucism in antelope species, in hooved animal species. Alright, Seb, I'm thinking we just sort of meander roundabouts here. Oh, sorry. Sorry, half a meter too close. Excuse me. Alright. And then we'll get a nice view. Kimberly, you're curious about whether buffalo always move in a herd. Kimberly, with the females and the young, yes, they do. They move in a herd. Although that being said, I have seen females on their own once or twice, but it was mitigating circumstances. The old males, as we were chatting about before, will leave the herd when they get too old. But in general, the herd structure is buffalo are in a herd. But now we also must remember, with prey species in particular, not all of them, but a good portion of them, especially the larger prey species, so sort of impala size up through giraffe size, they will move in a herd structure, the females and the young, because it aids them in helping to defend against predation. Something small like a duiker or a steenbok or a dik-dik or even bushbuck to an extent have a tendency to be more sort of on their own or in a little mated pair, and that because they're smaller, they can go and hide and camouflage themselves as opposed to needing security in numbers. Oh, there's a baby! Thanks, Seb. There's a little one, not brand new. I would probably say 6 months, maybe 8 months old. But I haven't seen little buffaloes in a very long time. Last winter when we had that horrible drought, when we had our summer season last year, most of our buffaloes where I was working did not calf. They were the drought was too much for them. We also lost about 75% of our buffalo on that property because of the drought and because of predation due to the drought. So it's nice that these ones are healthy enough and are reproducing. Ooh, sorry, Seb, I just jiggled. There we go. One last look at the buffalo, and then let's head over to James, who has a cat he would like to show us.
Hello, everybody. We have got into a position here with Hosana, and we probably won't be able to be here for very long, so we're just going to have a quick look here because there's only space for 2 people to see him. And so we will just enjoy while we can. Isn't he special? Oh, he's up. Sorry, I'm just concentrating on what the other vehicles are doing because everyone's trying to get a view of him. It is a little bit difficult. Anyway, for those of you who don't know, this young male leopard killed an impala earlier. He has hidden it underneath a tree here, and I think we might be able to get a view from further up, don't you, Bim? Yeah, so we can let this guy in. Dylan? Can you see? Can you see? Okay, let me move up and then you can park here. We'll be able to get a view from the top. You're right? Okay. Alright, Dylan says it's fine. That's Brent's brother very kindly saying that he's seen them already, so he's not going to worry about it. Anyway, so he's killed an impala. You can see he's panting hugely because, of course, he is hot and mainly he's fat. He's a wonderful little fellow, and you know what? It's slightly embarrassing me. We managed to. Oh gosh, this radio won't shut up. We managed to get out of the car. We couldn't see him. We found his tracks around the place. We got out. We were no more than 10 meters or 30 feet from him when we got out of the car. And then we saw him once he was pointed out to us. He did not react to us one little bit when we were on foot. Now, Weedy, you're in Washington and you say you'd like to see him when he's about 5 or 6 years old. Well, Weedy, if you keep watching Safari Live, you might be very lucky. Of course, the chances of him being here when he's 5 or 6 years old are very small. He will most likely vacate this territory as the onset of adolescence takes place. Testosterone starts coursing through his body, and he will then become a territorial male and try and find a territory for himself. And so we don't know where he's going to pitch up, you know, we don't know where he's going to go. I'm just letting you know that Thamba apparently has also been found. I don't think anywhere we're allowed to go, I'm afraid. Not sure what happened to our
Sorry so much, everybody. Sorry about that crash cut. They have found Mvula, but he's on Biffle's side, so unfortunately we won't be seeing him quite yet, but hopefully he will move in across so that we can have a view of him. We are still with our buffalo. I'm just waiting for them to cross the road so that we can carry on looking for what we want to look for, which for right now, we were going to go to Treehouse Dam, but I have a sneaky suspicion that there's a few other things out and about. But for now, we're going to aim for Treehouse Dam, and then we will see what else the guys have found. Now, this is a roadblock in the bush. I used to work on a property where you had to drive quite a distance to get to work. Well, by quite a distance, I mean 10 minutes. 15 minutes maybe. And if you didn't give yourself sort of a little extra time frame, you would be late due to buffalo in the road or elephants in the road. Sometimes there was lions in the road. Thank you, everybody. Joyce, you're asking, can I see any pregnant females in the herd? Joyce, definitely, and as you say that, I can actually see one right now. No, don't go away! Sort of our... Oh, well, she's gone. It was at our 3 o'clock. Let me back up and see if we can see her again. There's definitely some pregnant ones, and we saw that youngster earlier. So if one's had a baby, then they've also... The other ones will have a baby. I'm sorry, Seb, I think she's moved. She's kind of there. But it's going to be, she's heavily pregnant. So there we go. So most definitely, lots of little babies coming up soon. Now, unlike the wildebeest or the impala, buffalo will give birth sort of any time of the year. Doesn't matter. Same as a zebra or a giraffe or even a kudu for that matter. They give birth any time of the year. So they prefer to sort of coincide when there's a lot of food around, but that's not a hard and fast rule. It's just better for them if there is nice green grass for them to eat so that they can produce healthy, nutritious milk for their little ones. Buffaloes don't only eat grass though, they will eat leaves. It's just that grass is the main part of their diet. Now, one of the things that happened with the buffalo last year on one of the property that I was working at, is they were eating a lot of guarri trees, and guarris have a lot of tannins, and they were basically giving themselves tannin poisoning. The reason why they were doing that is because there was literally no grass. It was just bare soil. And I know something like that happened here as well. And we were chatting last time we had the Nkuhumas. We sat with them for quite a while. We were talking about the white mussel disease that the Nkuhuma little ones got due to the fact that the buffalo didn't have enough fat, and that has a lot to do with the fact that what they were able to eat was not producing enough nutrients in their body, and some of that would be due to those extra tannins. Just hold on, everybody. Very bumpy. The extra tannins that are in the guarris that they were having to eat. Oh, what a beautiful afternoon. Sunshine makes me so happy. Karen, you're curious about what's considered old for a buffalo. Sort of anything upwards of 18 years, Karen. So they can live to be about 22-ish, 23-ish, but 18's pushing the mark, so 18 to 20 is very old for a buffalo. Now, we were talking earlier about any pregnant ones and the little ones. A buffalo female will start giving birth around the age of 3, and she'll have one baby every 3, under normal circumstances, one baby every 3 years until she passes away. So she's basically a breeding machine. Some elephants have been rocking up in there. We've got more Ellie tracks here. There's a lot going on today. It's great. It's nice when there's a lot going on, and when there is Joy, you're curious to know how closely related Cape buffalo are to water buffalo. So Joy, what I know about that is African Cape buffalo, Sincerus kaffir, are based in Africa and are no genus relation, no species relation to water buffalo. I think if you were to look at it closely enough, you get bison in the North American area, we get buffalo here, African Cape buffalo here, and then you get water buffalo in Asia, and they most likely were coming through the evolutionary change after the split of the continent, so after 180 million years ago. Without having further information, just talking off the top of my head, rhino have been around, white rhino have been around here on the African continent for 50 million years. 10 million years ago, black rhino broke off of white rhino to become their own genus or species. So I would guesstimate that buffalo popped up in the different continents around about the same time rhino would, and the reason why I'm saying that, maybe even a little bit after, the reason why I'm saying that is the white rhino and the buffalo and the bison and the water buffalo are all bulk grazers, and so that body type has a specific grass species that it needs and habitats that it needs, and so that's why I would probably say that water buffalo, bison, and our African Cape buffalo, if any relation at all, is very, very far in the past, although I have a feeling that their relation is pretty much non-existent. But again, that being said, I need to just do a little bit more homework. And as always, you know, everybody knows how much I love doing my homework. It makes me learn. Alright, so James's gremlins seem to have disappeared, so let's head back over to him and see what his plans are for the rest of the afternoon.
My plans are to keep a lot of signal. I'm afraid we lost signal because we couldn't park at an angle that was working for Hosana, so we've left him. But we've got a Wasserbok bull. We've got a Nyala group. We have got some starlings, some squirrels. I'm just trying to find out what's going on. They've got Thamba somewhere.
Copy. I think I'm going to make my way this lady. Yeah, make your way. Why not?
Well, what's the location there?
North of Mike's kitchen, Jay.
Is there space for me?
between Mike's Kitchen
This
and
is very exciting.
Kruger.
I'm on my way. Let's go and see Thamba. Do you want to see Thamba, or would you rather do the hornbill? We can do the leopard, okay. Here we go. Hold on tight, everybody. I'm going to drive with relative speed. It's very exciting. I haven't seen Thamba for a long time. Now, the reason this radio is now loud in my ear, as opposed to not in my ear, you having to listen to it, is because Viam didn't plug it in today. Is that correct, Viam? Whose department is it? Is it Conrad's fault? It's Conrad. Let us throw Conrad under the bus.
Anybody following up on the 6 or something?
There's another water back there. I'm just going to keep going.
Myself and Jamie at 1.
Just for in case.
Still same position.
Ooh. Linda, apparently you say yay. Was it James' rules? Is that what you said?
Shoulder.
Thank you, Linda.
Dylan. Go ahead.
Righty. Going down. Conrad is upset. Is that what you said, Kirsten?
Hold on, Ollie.
Oh, Conrad doesn't like being blamed. Well, you know, when you're the youngest member of the team, you have to cop all the blame, even if it has nothing to do with you. We'll pop over the dam wall here, and then we're going towards something called Mike's Kitchen, which is the bush braai site, as far as I understand it. And whether I'll manage to find it or not is another matter entirely. We've probably got about 5 minutes until we're there. So while we're doing that, let me concentrate on finding it and not making an idiot of myself. You go across to Noelle and find out what she's going to find. Wumpy, our aerial is falling.
James, I'm still looking, but I'm hopeful that you get a good sighting of the leopard that you are heading to. I believe you said it was Thamba, and I know that we had... Oh, I've forgotten her name. Viewers, help me. Who did we see last night? That beautiful female, Tundi's daughter? Kachava. Thanks, Seb. Thanks, Curse. Kachava. What? Kachawa. Kachawa. Excuse me, Seb. Seb's correcting me on my Shangan.
No.
Ah, see, Curse is saying ZA. Oh my goodness. So now I've got Curse and Seb disagree. Alright, Curse, Seb says it's WA. You're saying ZA. I'm gonna get out of the middle and I'm gonna let the viewers tell me what the spelling is and how you would do it. Oh, so Seb's saying, sorry, the W sound, it's a V sound, a V spelling with a W sound. And that's what James has told him. Alright, well, viewers, you send through that spelling from, I know that you all have your Leopard ID profiles lurking somewhere, and we will carry on that discussion another time. And we can place bets who's going to win. Could be Cursed, it could be Seb. I'm staying out of it. I'm going to be Sweden in the middle. Or Switzerland, rather. Hello, Impala. Okay, so we're headed over to Treehouse Dam. Now, I keep saying that, but of course we always get sidelined. But it is so nice to just be driving around without the rain. The rain can come again tomorrow. It can rain in the mornings and then we can have sunshine in the afternoon, and I think that will work for everybody. But don't forget, tomorrow is Big Birding Day. Super exciting. I'm sorry, Seb, I gotta stop for these little ones. They're uber cute. Okay, so we did baby buffalo just now. Now we've got baby impala. Now it's interesting, when they're first born, they'll stick with mom, and then after a couple of days, sometimes up to a week, they form these little crushes, a little nursery, and then the females will take turns watching them, and when the mums need to nurse, they come up and smell which one is theirs. So that's how they tell which baby is theirs, by smell. And the baby can tell which mum is theirs by smell. So a unique smell. Very similar to humans, we also have unique smells. And any parents out there, especially mums, you will know that your baby also has a very particular smell, especially top of the head. There's that smell that little infant humans have on top of their head that is very unique. That's rather rude, madam. But, as we all know, everybody has to poo. There's some koodoos lurking in the background. Now, usually the impala come up here as it's getting dark. It's not quite time to get dark, but all of these mums that are here with their little ones, they would prefer this sort of open area right now. It makes them feel more safe, and then they can also feed while keeping an eye on their little ones at the same time. Well, that one's gonna get... Yeah, I agree, everybody. Cutes and oohs and ahs for sure. I want one of them to start nursing. They do an interesting thing. Anything that has udders at the back, the little ones will go up, and when they're ready to feed, they actually smack the udder to get the milk to stimulate, to start flowing. It's quite an interesting scenario. Has to be quite uncomfortable as well for the little one. Alright, well, James has made it to our beautiful leopard, who I'm sure would love to snack on one of these little impala. So let's head over to James and Thamba and see what that sighting is like.
Hello again, everybody, and here we have Big Ears himself, a magnificent little leopard, son of Thamba, aka Bigglesworth. Isn't he wonderful? Hi, little fella. It's been so long since I saw you. And nobody else wants to come to the sighting. It's wonderful. Hosana is obviously the sort of Tom Cruise of the leopard world, and this leopard a more refined taste, perhaps a, I don't know, what would we say? An up and coming young actor, young character. Now, apparently there is some confusion, not about this leopard, but about another leopard called Guchava. And there's some confusion over how to say it. Well, Guchava means scared, and Chava is spelt C-H-A-V-A. There may be an extra H in there somewhere, like next to the V, I'm not sure. But it means afraid or scared, and so Guchava is pronounced K-U-C, it was pronounced Guchava. But where the confusion comes in is that the V and the B are often very similar sounding. And so you wouldn't say Guchava if you were speaking Shangaan, you'd say Guchava. And you don't actually say V, you just kind of slightly say it. So it sounds a little bit like there's a W in there, but also a B. So you don't say Guchaba or Guchava, you say Guchava. So that's why some people are confused about the spelling. Does that make sense, Kirsten? Are you satisfied with that? Thank goodness she says she's satisfied with it. What a relief. Isn't he a regal little fellow? But he does have outlandishly sized ears, doesn't he? He looks fairly, he doesn't look very cheerful, does he? Looks mildly irritated. Emma, you want to know what Thamba's name means? It means Bigglesworth. No, Emma, it doesn't mean Bigglesworth. Bigglesworth is a made-up name. It means rock. He was born on a rock or boulder, or spent much of his very formative, shall we say, weeks on a rock right near the Chitwa camp. And it's Thamba, I think. Is there an H there? There might not be. He's got very large feet and very large ears. Alright, now he's got a very interesting spot pattern. I would call him a 2-4 male. If you look there, you can see those 2 spots above his whisker line. One looks like 2 spots that are joined, and then a single one on its own. See that above the whisker line? That's beautiful. So that's 2 there. I wouldn't say that was 3, I'd call that 2. And then if he looks the other side, you'll see that he's got 4. 3 in a line and 1 on top. Judy, you say his eye colour seems to be changing. Well, that's totally normal. Leopards generally have very bluish or bluish tinged eyes when they're born, and then they do turn this greener colour. So yes, I would agree that his eyes are changing colour. There we can see the spot pattern on this side. 1, 2, 3, 4. But you're right, the light will make a difference to that as well. So he is now born in July of 2016, 17 months old, slightly younger than Hosana, and both of them will inevitably disperse from this area if they get to the stage that they're able to. In other words, if they are become independent and are, well, still alive, not to put too fine a point on it. Anything special? There's something about this little fellow I really find most appealing. Possibly his his large ears. I'm not making that up, am I, VM? I mean, he does have large ears, don't you think?
Yes. I pulled out of the lock with fun. It's an open lock.
Yeah, me too. I'm also, a lot of you saying you're glad he hasn't grown out of his ears. I am as well. His ears seem to be keeping pace with his general development. It's a good time for him now to be learning to be independent. He's had to go independent pretty early. But it's a good time for him because while he may well still share a meal with his mother, he I mean, it's a good time because there are lots of impala lambs around, but I'm just looking at his very stern face. Don't you think he looks serious? He takes himself very seriously, does young Thamba? Yes, Viam says he's much more intelligent, he thinks, than Hosana. He looks like he's about to move a chess piece, you know, after some serious consideration. Whereas Hosana's got a much more happy-go-lucky look about his face. This guy is not here for a haircut. He's not here to tell jokes. Maybe I'm wrong, but I really do think he looks much more serious. I didn't, but I heard about it. Rebecca, you said it. I see the sighting where Thamba, Hosana and Tingana were sharing a kill together. I didn't see it, but I heard about it. And you want to know my thoughts? Well, I mean, the most obvious thought is, of course, that both of them are Tingana's sons. Somehow he recognizes that. They were born in his territory, so, you know, there's no real reason he shouldn't think that. certainly he's mated with their mothers. And so that's the most obvious explanation. The fact that they tolerated each other, I think, is probably just a function of the fact that they haven't hit puberty yet, or, you know, they're just about to. And, yeah, the fact that Tingana tolerated them in that closer proximity to his kill, I think, is very interesting. Now, I mean, 2 days ago, we had an amazing sight of Tingana and Hosana. Hosana trying desperately to make friends with his father and being kind of growled at and hissed at. But he was undeterred, was the young Hosana. And so there clearly is some form of recognition. There clearly some sort of kin recognition, I think, between these leopards. So that's why I did it. I'm really sad not to have seen that 3 male leopard sighting. I mean, that is quite something. He's a very sleepy, serious fellow. He's been considering all sorts of complicated problems during the day. The roundness of the earth, whether or not the earth moves around the sun or the sun moves around the earth. Deborah, yes, you say you've never noticed whiskers on a leopard before around their cheeks. Leopards have the longest whiskers of any cat that I know of. They really are much longer than any other that I've seen. And they're there, of course, to send sensory messages to the cat's brain. And the follicles at the base of them are packed full of nerves. Look at feel vibrations is the largest reason that they have them, and that's what transfers to the brain. But I mean, vibrations could be sound. Apparently they can also do things like tell you about the size and shape and speed of nearby objects. I mean, I beggars belief as to how that happens. So if I was to fling a cricket ball at young Thamba here, presumably his whiskers would help him avoid being smacked in the face by it. I think it also helps at night, of course, when they can feel vibrations. Apparently some animals, I'm just actually looking at an article here on whiskers, some of them will use them almost like noses, really, to locate food. That's not, excuse me, rats, seals and walruses, apparently. Anyway, well, the sun's come out on him now and made him look rather spectacular.
And Harley making his way, hoping to replace one of the double M stations. When Harley gets there,
sorry about the game drive radio, there really is nothing I can do about it, I'm afraid.
west of Greenthorn on double M boundary on the net side of the fire break. Are they not sure.
Brenda, you're wondering about whether or not he will feel his rank has changed. You know, with the arrival of the new ones, I think. Does he realise? Well, I suppose he would. I mean, whether he registers it as rank or not, I don't know. Probably not. But he knows something's changed because his mother's not feeding him anymore, and I suspect any time he goes anywhere near her, she shouts at him and tells him to go away. So from that point of view, I'm sure he does feel like something has changed. But whether he registers that as a change in rank or not, no, I don't think so. drinking some water there to wet my whistle. Getting evil grins from Brentlier Smith's brother. I think I shall have to take a picture of him. My camera doesn't like him. Oh, there we go. I've got him. What can only be described. Well, I'm not going to describe the grin he gave me. Oh, look at him. Now, it's a very good question, LJK. You say, how do we concentrate with a game drive radio in our ears? It can be very difficult at a busy sighting. So if you're at a wild dog sighting or a leopard sighting like this, and there are lots of people trying to get here, it can be extremely difficult. But, you know, and if, for example, the final control is also busy, you'll have two people talking into your ear at the same time, and then it can be very difficult to understand what's going on. But, you know, the human brain is remarkable. When I started, and you'll notice that with some of the newer presenters, they will, when the radio starts to go, they stop speaking entirely. And slowly that changes, and their brains adjust and allow them to be able to listen and speak at the same time. Certainly when I began, I couldn't speak while I was being spoken to. It was almost impossible. And while I'm still not an expert at it, you just get used to it. You learn to sort of shut one out and listen to what's relevant, and then stop listening and keep talking. It's just practice. I think anyone can do it, just with a bit of time. Now, the game drive radio can be an absolute nightmare. Isn't he lovely? I keep saying that. I won't say it again, I promise. I, like most people, have never seen a leopard that I've said, "Ooh, that is an ugly leopard." That's not actually true. What the first time I saw Kruger, I described her. What did I describe her as? I think I said she had a bit of a that's right, I said she was pug-faced. And my goodness, there was a great backlash from regular Safari Live viewers. They were utterly scandalized that I had described the Queen of Djuma as such. You know, he's a very serious fellow. He's not here for jokes. He's also very tired. He's enjoying the feeling of the sun. I suspect the temperature's dropped slightly now, probably to around 28, 82. Oh, SARS is 32 and 89, which I don't believe. Look at him nearly falling over as he drops off. Apparently he looks like me. Kirsten, in what way does he look like me? Is that what I look like when I fall asleep at my desk? Yes, I have been known to drop off at my desk or in meetings from time to time. Ooh. Naturally, I missed all of that with my illegal camera device. Now, I imagine that he will sit here for much of the rest of the afternoon. There are actually some impala moving slowly towards us and towards him. They look like a little bachelor herd, though, so I'm not sure that there are any youngsters that he could have a go at. But his whiskers